You know when you step outside on a clear, dark night, look up at the stars and spot that single, steady, reddish dot glowing back at you? Well, that's Mars, the fourth planet from our sun, and honestly, one of the absolute most fascinating worlds in our entire solar system. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping right into a journey of discovery to uncover the secrets of the red planet. We're going to explore its harsh realities, its ancient mysteries, and the incredibly exciting possibility that we might one day actually call it our second home.
Here is the game plan for this explainer. In Section 1, we'll officially meet the red planet. Section 2 is all about geography and weather extremes. Section 3 covers the search for life. Section 4 introduces our robotic explorers. And Section 5, we're asking the biggest question of all. Can humans actually live there?
All right, Section 1, meet the red planet.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really wrap our heads around Mars, we need to look at what physically makes it so striking from millions of miles away. I mean, why is it literally called the red planet? It basically comes down to chemistry. Mars is incredibly rich in iron-heavy rocks, and the dust covering the whole planet is just saturated with iron oxide. And you actually know iron oxide from right here on Earth. It's literally just rust. So essentially, the entire surface of Mars is coated in a layer of rust. When sunlight hits that rusty dust, it reflects back that iconic deep reddish-orange color we see all the way from our backyards.
Now, Mars is strangely familiar, but also totally alien compared to Earth. It's a rocky planet sitting fourth from the sun, and it's got two moons, Phobos and Deimos. But check out these time frames. A day on Mars is almost identical to a day here. It clocks in at 24.6 hours. You wouldn't even have to adjust your sleep schedule much. But a Martian year, because it's further out from the sun, it takes a massive 687 Earth days to complete just one orbit. So your birthdays would be nearly 2 Earth years apart.
And that brings us to what it would physically feel like to stand there. Mars is smaller and less massive than Earth, which means its gravity is a lot weaker. Actually, it's only 38% of Earth's gravity. Just imagine that for a second. If you were standing on the Martian surface right now, you'd weigh only 38% of what you weigh sitting there on Earth. You'd feel incredibly light, and the way you move would completely change.
Moving on to Section 2, Geography and Weather Extremes. Now, don't let that bouncy, low-gravity thought make you too comfortable, because the environment there is brutal. It's harsh, unforgiving, and truly mind-bending. Minus 60 degrees Celsius, that is the average temperature on Mars. It is a freezing, bitterly cold desert world. And remember, that's just the average. At night, the temperature absolutely plummets. It gets so unbelievably frigid that the polar regions on Mars have actual permanent ice caps. You would need some serious thermal gear just to step outside for a second. But the cold isn't even your biggest problem. A massive 95% of the super-thin Martian atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide. There's basically zero oxygen. Let me be perfectly clear. You couldn't take a natural breath there, not even for a second. To survive, you'd have to bring every single breath of oxygen with you from Earth, or figure out how to manufacture it on the spot. But the geography? That is where things get truly epic. Think of the biggest mountain you can possibly imagine here on Earth. Mount Everest, right? Well, Mars is home to Olympus Mons. And it isn't just a mountain, it's a massive volcano. In fact, it's the largest volcano in the entire solar system. It towers roughly 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Trying to visualize that scale is almost impossible. It's a geological monster that absolutely dwarfs our tallest peaks. And the crazy scale doesn't stop with volcanoes. We all know how breathtaking the Grand Canyon is. Well, Mars features Valles Marineris. It's a gigantic canyon system that would make the Grand Canyon look like a tiny little ditch in the ground. The geological forces that shaped Mars billions of years ago left behind scars that are unmatched anywhere else in our planetary neighborhood. And the weather driving across those massive canyons and volcanoes is just as intense. Mars gets battered by strong winds and frozen winters, but it's most famous for its massive dust storms. Some of these violent storms grow so large they can literally cover the entire planet. Yet, right in the middle of all this harsh chaos, there's some incredible beauty. Because of the way that fine red dust scatters the light, if you were watching the sun go down on Mars, the sunset wouldn't be red or orange. It would be a surreal, tranquil blue.
Which brings us to Section 3, the search for life.
So we've seen the harsh, freezing desert that Mars is today. But the narrative changes entirely when we look at its past, which forces us to ask the ultimate question. Was this frozen rock ever alive? It all hinges on one massive thing. Is there water on Mars? Water is the essential building block for life as we know it. We know the atmosphere is thin, and the surface is frozen rust right now, but scientists have been digging into the clues to see if, billions of years ago, Mars actually wasn't all that different from Earth.
And the discoveries have been absolutely monumental. Scientists aren't just guessing anymore. They've found hard evidence. We've directly observed ice locked away at the Martian poles. But even more thrilling, the surface is carved with the undeniable signs of ancient rivers and deep lakes. This evidence basically screams that billions of years ago, liquid water was flowing freely across the Martian surface. Because there was water, the hunt for life is officially on. Now, just to be super clear, no confirmed life has been found yet. But scientists aren't looking for, little green men. They're hunting for microscopic evidence. They're actively searching for fossilized microorganisms, any biological signs of past life locked away in the rocks, and scanning for underground water tables where simple life forms might actually still be hiding today.
Let's look at how we're doing this in Section 4, Robotic Explorers. So, how exactly are we hunting for microscopic fossils millions of miles away? Well, since we can't safely send humans just yet, space agencies, particularly NASA, have sent a fleet of mechanical geologists to do the heavy lifting for us. We're talking about famous missions like the Viking landers and those legendary rovers, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. These rovers are literally our eyes and hands on an alien surface. Their jobs are to take high-def photos, drill into rocks, and use onboard laboratories to search for those elusive signs of ancient life.
But exploring Mars is not just one nation's endeavor. It's a massive global achievement, and this brilliantly illustrates that point. The incredible milestone by India's Space Research Organization. Their Mangalyaan mission made history. India became the very first Asian country to successfully reach Mars orbit, and amazingly, they nailed it on their absolute first attempt. It's a huge testament to the global dedication to understanding our planetary neighbor.
And finally, the big one. Section 5. Can humans live there? So we have orbiters in the sky and rovers on the ground. But the ultimate dream is shifting from robotic exploration to future human colonization. But to build those future colonies, we have to overcome some absolutely brutal physical challenges. As we established, there's no breathable oxygen and it's bitterly cold. But on top of that, without a thick atmosphere or a strong magnetic field like we have on Earth, humans would be exposed to really dangerous levels of space radiation. Add in the long-term health effects of living in 38% gravity, and you've got a massive puzzle that scientists and engineers are desperately trying to solve today.
Yet, despite all those terrifying dangers, the dream is very much alive. And it's not just government agencies anymore. Private space companies, like SpaceX, are actively pouring billions of dollars and countless hours of engineering into planning physical human missions. They aren't just dreaming about it. They are literally building the massive rockets required to make human missions to Mars a tangible reality in our lifetime.
So why do we do it? Why risk so much and spend so much just to reach a freezing, rusty desert? Well, we explore Mars to understand the origin of planets and figure out how our own Earth came to be. We explore it to answer the profound question of whether alien life ever existed. And ultimately, we explore it to pave the way for future human space colonies, basically ensuring our survival among the stars. The Red Planet simply demands our curiosity.
And that brings us right back to you. We've talked about the freezing temperatures, the complete lack of oxygen, the global dust storms, but also those epic volcanoes, the blue sunsets, and the potential to be part of an entirely new chapter in human history. So, I have to ask you directly, would you pack your bags and leave Earth behind to face those extremes? Would you like to live on Mars one day? Drop a yes or no in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep looking up.